Hello, everybody. Welcome back to my living room again. I hope everyone's doing pretty well. It's Thursday, and we're looking forward to having another brief update with you. I'll turn it over right away. Brian, Mayor Taylor had mentioned that he had some comments of gratitude that he wanted to share. So over to you, Brian.
Good morning, Rolly. Yeah, I think it's worth paying special attention to the work that was done by the River Valley Church and the Warners. They worked with the Easter Bunny directly and took it all around, both in the city and the rural area. A massive effort by the Warners and their volunteers. So thank you to the Easter Bunny for finding people who could help them and getting the Easter treats out there. So thank you to the Warners and to the Easter Bunny.
Yeah,
Back
very
to
good.
you.
We had the conversation around here about just how many kilos of chocolate they must have trucked around town. So good.
Well, it's
Good
a
work.
great morale lifter for people.
Yeah, which is absolutely what we need, and aligns nicely with. There's also some boosts to morale coming from the numbers that are coming out of the province in terms of and the country in terms of how well we've been doing at trying to manage our number of new cases, and so things are looking really good on that front. Our obligatory reminder though that means that we should kind of keep it up and keep at it. We did hear yesterday from the provincial release that that we did have the first casualty in the interior, and so that's kind of a grim reminder that it is here as well. But some optimism certainly in terms of how well provincially we're doing here. So I think Brian, you were going to speak a little bit to some of the business changes and supports, and so back to you.
Yeah, I'm really happy with the fact that they've been responding to what we consider to be gaps in support services by changing the rules. So you need to go to the appropriate websites to find out the detailed information. But the CERB has made new inclusions of farm labor and seasonal labor. There's been some big changes there. We also have the commercial rent program just coming on stream. We have the Canada Business Homes. That program has dropped the bottom end of that to 20,000 employee costs to 1.5 million. So they've opened that loan program up to a lot of new businesses. So that and the fact that we have a new hotline for support services for business are real promising indications that we have support from all levels of government coming in.
Thanks for that. And one of the other pieces that has come up again and again that we wanted to touch on today was around food security, and that's been flagged as a real high priority item, both in terms of provision of food to vulnerable populations, and how we're making sure that we're still able to deliver that, as well as the food production systems. And so wanted to speak a little bit about there's been concerns raised about whether or not we're going to be able to have farmers markets, for example, this summer. Certainly the city has been very supportive in terms of helping try to manage that. There's been some clear direction from the province in terms of what those look like. So farmers markets will look a little different this year in terms of having no non-food vendors, and having some fairly strict guidelines around managing the total number of people, for example, at the market, and flow, and keeping that physical distancing between customers at the market. But just a reminder that those, a lot of those producers are out there relying on that, and that local food production system. This is another opportunity, as we saw in 2018, where we really rely on local food production. So make sure we get out there and support those producers that are producing. And some of those are already, some of those small market gardeners and so on in the area are already opening up their food delivery options as well. Some creativity there and ingenuity in terms of how to deliver food to our community. So exciting stuff there. Any other pieces that you wanted to speak to, Brian?
I think the border issue and where we're going in terms of our future here, I'm hearing clearly from the Prime Minister that this is weeks and weeks away, that they'll be loosening some of the isolation rules. However, it's clear that that's going to be done on a slow basis, that it's going to take a period of time, and that there'll be no rapid opening of any borders, contrary to what the American president is saying. We're likely to see these border restrictions remain in place for many weeks to come. So not to get too optimistic that we're going to be able to cross the border. But in the long term, everybody is talking about us moving to a point of looking at targeted work by health officials to track down and isolate issues of contagion. And so, in fact, it'd be that things are lifted slowly on a regional basis. So we'll be looking at how that affects Grand Forks in our area.
Yeah. And there's some great work that's going on as far as I'm aware of in terms of strategizing around how we kind of phase re-entry into the markets for those different businesses and so on, and what that looks like. So lots of good energy there. Brief update on things to come. So tomorrow morning, Friday morning, I think on Juice FM, we should have a bit of an update on business supports that are available there. If you want to tune in there, the Gazette has a running list of some of the various hours of operations and changing businesses that's worth paying attention to. And when we come back, the mayor and myself on Tuesday, we hope to have a member of the school district here to speak to some of the issues around that as well. And so I would close just by reminding everybody how important it is to reach out, give your neighbors a call. That's that social cohesion and reducing that social distance while keeping physical distance is really, really key. So reach out and give somebody a call. And that's all I have for today.
Thank you very much, Rolly. And I repeat what you're saying. Stay with the program, keep isolating, and we're going to see that those restrictions lifted slowly over the next weeks to come. Thank you, Rolly.
Thanks, everybody.